Hi, I'm Matt Dalton, and I'm about to sit down with Arlene Wewege from the Risk Consulting team. And we're going to talk about internal controls and impact on the consumer sector. I hope you enjoy it. So Arlene, it's a really challenging time for consumers at the moment. Retailers are grappling with supply chain issues, inflation, energy costs. So why would they want to do controls now? What's the real benefit?
So I would say that controls are really important right now. If you think about, if I give you an analogy of a car, why do you have brakes on a car? So that you can go faster. And that's really the idea behind, if you look at controls within an organization, the minute you put mitigating controls in place, it allows you to perform and go to where you want to be. So it all links to what is your strategy as an organization and to actually help you get there.
And there's the base white paper, they call it UK SOX. Are you doing any work around that at the moment? Are retailers, how are they responding to that?
When looking at internal controls and what it actually does, it makes business sense regardless of compliance. So yes, there is a lot of talk around it in terms of the UK SOX going forward, and yes, we can always help clients with that. But it comes down to the same principles, which is what do you need to get to your business objectives, and how can you use controls to help you mitigate that route and that journey.
We're seeing through like the audit and assurance statement now that directors are effectively more responsible for the control environment. How's that manifesting itself in what you're seeing in the market?
I would say people are getting a little bit more nervous. So you'll find that these kind of conversations are making their way into the boardroom. It's not just something that's an annual tick at the end of a year. This is really something that is in the moment. It's continuously being asked by stakeholders, by the board, by the audit committee. So it's not something that you can just ignore. So that's what's making, I think, people a little bit more nervous. And I think the idea of finding the confidence in the controls in your environment is definitely something that is needed.
So why would they want to invest in controls right now?
It's really good. It makes good business sense to invest in controls right now, is that it will allow you to make quicker, better decisions if your data set is correct. It helps with early warning systems, so really helping you see risks that are coming your way. It helps with performance within the organization. Not to mention that in a well-controlled environment, your processes become more resilient. And if things are working as they should, then you can start focusing your attention on new emerging risks, can start looking at your strategy, can really then work on the business itself, which is ultimately where you want to go.
Really interesting. So I know you do a lot of work around integrated assurance. It's a big buzzword at the moment. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, integrated assurance is so important to do it in conjunction with internal controls. I suppose if you just think about integrated assurance, it really talks about coordinating across the landscape of the business and making sure that you know who's doing what where, which also immediately feeds the confidence again to the board, to the audit committee, so that they have a good understanding of who's mitigating all those controls, who the different players are within the field. And we're seeing a lot of that really kicking off in lots of businesses so that they can coordinate all the things that are going on and get a bit of a snapshot of what's happening within their risk universe.
And is culture important? Do you need the right culture?
Oh, absolutely. Without embedding it into the organization, it's literally from top down, all the way it needs to cascade. But it is such a journey, and you've got to really, I think, embrace it and understand that every risk and control that sits within the business sits with every single person. And if you get that right and you fully manage to embed your controls, I think that is world class.
There are many retailers at the moment going through huge transformation. So what would be the top tips you'd give them around controls for the transformation program?
It is a journey, so to really plan it out, understand what you have, where you've got gaps, where you don't have the necessary resources, and be pragmatic about how you want to implement it. Some organizations are really keen to fully embed and be totally automated, but that takes time. So also finding a bit of an interim solution of controls that can mitigate the risk, but might not necessarily be a new system. Really just understanding your roadmap, I think.
Well, I've really enjoyed the conversation. Is there any other things you want to tell our viewers out there?
Robust internal controls are are so key, and it just makes business sense. And it's really the sooner you can start having those conversations, the better.
Fantastic. Well, I've really enjoyed it, Arlene. It's been great talking to you, and thank you very much for coming in today.
Excellent. Thanks, Matt.